ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। So let's chant this shloka number. The first shloka that is not there in many textbooks. Arjuna's question. Arjuna uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
prakritim purusham chaiva
Prakritim Purusham Chaiva
kshetram kshetrajnameva cha
Kshetram Kshetrajnameva Cha
etad veditumicchami
Etad Veditumicchami
jnanam jneyam cha keshava.
Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava.
Yeah. So today we will look at the summary of chapter 13 like we normally do towards the end of every chapter. So 13 being the first chapter of the third Shatkam of the Bhagavad Gita. We saw that before. Tat Tvam Asi. So the first six is Tvam-pada Vishaya or Tvam-pada Vishaya or Tvam-pada Vicharaha. Second six chapters, namely from 7 to 12, is Tat-pada Vishaya. That means Ishvara Pradhana Shatkam. And then the last six chapters, primarily, not a hard division, but primarily our acharyas have seen that refers to this teaching of Mahavakya Tat Aikya, Jiveshwara Aikya Vichara, Asipada Vichara. Asi means you are that, so that are, equality is being talked about in these six chapters, beginning with the 13th. And so therefore important chapter. Swamiji calls it Upanishad Saraha. The essence of the Upanishad is there in some of these chapters, 13, 14, 15, like that. So this first shloka that we chanted, it's not there in many books. And so it's very convenient, the shloka. That's why we should write it down. It highlights what are the topics there in this chapter. Okay, because this whole Bhagavad Gita is is a dialogue. And Krishna is constantly only responding to Arjuna. And if Arjuna had not asked any questions, there would not be a Bhagavad Gita. And that too this long. And therefore, here he talks about, he's asking, Etad Veditum Ichhami. I want to know this. I want to know this. And Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetrajnam, Jnanam, Jneyam. In that order he asked. And so we saw that in these six, what looks like six topics, Kshetrajna, Purusha are identical. And what is Jneyam? Jneyam means what ought to be known. What ought to be known. That is called Jneyam, right? And so the what ought to be known is the Kshetrajnam and is the Purusha. I know the entire Kshetram. There is no shortage. Science is the master. The word science we use for the Kshetra. Kshetra Vijnanam is science, correct? But one thing I don't know is who am I? That is not clear. Therefore, here Kshetrajnam becomes very important. So Kshetrajnam, Purushaha, and Jneyam are the same topics. Out of the six, three refer to Atma. Three refer to Atma. You should not get confused. Oh, Kshetrajna, therefore that is different from Atma. And then there's so many words are there. Yeah, words are there. And each word reveals something in Sanskrit. And so they're all referring to the same Vastu. Look at that. Another word I introduced, Vastu. These words we all will remember. Vastu means in Vedanta, Vastu means Brahma. Another word I introduced. So like this, all these are all coming together. All right. And so then what? Then Kshetram, Prakriti, identical. So two more topics identical to one topic, which is what? Anatma. Okay. All right. Five topics are over. Sixth topic is what? Jnanam. Jnanam. Jnanam here, Krishna is referring to not the traditional meaning of Jnanam. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. Not that Jnanam. Referring to values and attitudes. Okay. We'll cover all that. Those values which are so critical for a human being to actually find this Vedanta to be uh, to be to have a conviction in Vedanta, we need the values. Yeah. Otherwise, it won't work. We'll see all right. So this is sloka number pujyam. We don't say zero, we say pujyam in Sanskrit. Pujyam means you can write the symbol zero, but it's called pujyam. Means it's an auspicious start to the chapter, correct? Pujyam. All right. So till all right, till 23, he's going to talk about, or even 25, we can say. He's going to talk about these three topics. And then after from 26 onwards, Krishna is going to summarize, consolidate the teachings. All right. So let's chant the next four shlokas, where he's going to give an introduction. You know, when they write a paper, technical papers, first they have what is called abstract. You have to write an abstract. Then you start your introduction, and then you experiments, and then analysis, and then finally conclusion. So same way here also. In Sanskrit, it's called upakramaha, technical word. Upakramaha means what? What's your thesis? Tell me what you're going to talk about. Okay, then I'll decide if it's worth for me. Is it interesting? Should I really listen to it, etc.? I'll decide. That's the idea. All right. First four shlokas. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Rukmini ji.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Idam shariram kaunteya
Idam Shariram Kaunteya
kshetramithyabhidhiyate
Kshetramityabhidiyate
etadyo vetti tam prahuhu
Yetadyo veti tam prahuhu
kshetrajna iti tadvidaha
Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha
kshetrajnanchapi mam vidhi
क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानम्
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानम्
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम
तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् च
तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् च
यद्विकारि यतश्च यत्
यद्विकारि यतश्च यत्
स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च
स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च
तत्समासेन मे शृणु
तत्समासेन मे शृणु
ऋषिभिर् ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतम्
ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतम्
छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक्
छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक्
ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव
ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव
हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः
हेतुमद्विभिर् हेतुमद्भिर्विधिश्चैतैः.
So, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Samasena me shrunu. Look at the third shloka, last quote. Samasena, in briefly, I'm going to tell you what all I'm going to talk about. And the rest also is brief only. Okay. And so, first shloka, look at that. Idam shariram kaunteya. That's it. That's a grand opening for this teaching. You know why? Kshetramityabhidhiyate. What is kshetram? We all know what kshetram is. Field. Typically, kshetram, we use it for agricultural field. But here in Vedanta, kshetra means what you're encountering. Whatever the human being is encountering during the course of his or her life is the field. Just going back and forth and doing whatever the human being is doing, it's all happening in the field, and that's called field, kshetram. And guess what, Arjuna, I don't have to talk to you about this field. You know, you people are very good. Universe, you're all studying. That's very good. Science has advanced rapidly. But then, what about this body? What about this body? Is it field? And number two, is there something other than the field? This is the question. And of course, this chapter is saying, yeah, there is something other than the field, which is you, the self, the Atma, and everything else is Anatma. And you have taken the body to be Atma. I have some news for you. And the body is not Atma. Okay? Atma is other than the body. And he says that by saying, this body, Shariram Kshetram. Like that, he introduces. And so, doesn't matter. What about all the 14 lokas our Vedas talk about? Doesn't matter. 14 lokas up and down, 7 up, 7 down. Everything is Kshetram. What about all the Devatas? Devatas. Oh my God. Gods. You're talking about gods? If you say the God is sitting in some loka, then what? Kshetram or Kshetrajnam? We have to confidently say, what will we confidently?
Kshetram.
Yeah. Confidently, we must say, our hand should not shiver like this. Oh, what will happen? Shani Dasha is also going on, and now I am top of that. Guruji is asking me all these questions. Don't. This is where Shraddhavan, Labate. Yeah. This is what Abhaya Prap. Advaita Vedanta will give us Abhaya. Utaha. Who is going to be afraid from what? That's where we are heading here. So it doesn't matter. Anything that you say, I see, finite. Anything finite you talk about is Kshetram. Okay. And so, what about my body is Kshetram? Why body is Kshetram? Because I objectify it. I am tall if somebody says, I am tall. How do you know I am tall? How do you know you are tall? Because somebody said you are tall, your wife told you you are tall, that's why you are tall, or what? No, no, no. I'm tall because I can measure myself, I can see it, I know the heights, average height of people, and I'm 6 foot 2 inches, and people consider me as tall, and therefore I'm tall. So the whole body is objectified. Therefore, body is also kshetram. That's our definition of kshetram, right? Yad drishyam, tad anatma, tad anityam, tad kshetram. Whatever is objectified or objectifiable is kshetram. What about mind? So, no problem here in Advaita Vedanta. Mind also. I am the witness of my thoughts. I know all the thoughts that are going on in my mind. Therefore, mind also cannot come under the bucket of Atma. Mind also is Anatma. And we've seen all this before. And so, this verse number, okay, then there he also says, Etad yo vetti tam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidah. Kshetrajna, the one who knows the entire kshetram. So that includes body and mind, is called a kshetrajna. Kshetram janati iti kshetrajna. And so you can roughly say experiencer, knower, all that you can say. So temporarily we give the knowing status to Atma, right? Is Atma a knower? If you ask, Atma is not a knower, really speaking, because it's a kriya. Atma is akarta. Even knowing status we won't give. But for now, what is the line that divides kshetram and kshetrajna? What is the line that divides it? All my body's extremities divides it? That is how I thought myself all along too. But to be, but now Krishna is going to give us a different idea, right? And so then he says in shloka number 2, an important shloka, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi. What a grand statement it is. Atma is Kshetrajna. Arjuna, your essence is who you are, and that is Atma, and that is Kshetrajna. And Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi. Understand that Kshetrajnam to be myself, to be me. Krishna is saying. That means what? That means it is not Krishna Avatara. Avatara also had a Janma, etc. So we are not talking about that Avatara, that body of Krishna that we all love. No, that is not Kshetrajna. Even though we worship that body, that Upadhi we worship, still not Kshetrajna. If the two have to be identical, it has to be even more fundamental than that. So your Atma and my Atma are identical. Hey Arjuna, this is a Mahavakyam. Okay. Therefore, Krishna Avatara is useful for us, no doubt. But consciousness cannot have an adjective. Can't say Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is same as Rama consciousness, is same as Devi consciousness, is same as any other consciousness, is same as my consciousness and your consciousness. Therefore, this is what he's saying. And he's saying that also because of this shloka number 4, Rishibir Bahida Geetam. Hey Arjuna, I am not making this up. I am not making this up. It is not my teaching. It is not Krishna's teaching. Therefore, it can't be. Don't call it Krishnaism and all that. This is Rishibir Bahuda Geetam. All kinds of texts have come and gone. All kinds of rishis have said the same thing, and I am saying the same thing. And therefore, rely on the Shastram. Shastram is the Pramanu. Don't look at a guy and say he's very charming, he's very smart, he's very intelligent. Therefore, what he says is true. No, that cannot be. Charm cannot be Pramanam. Shastram is Pramanam. Charm might be there in some person. A person might know how to talk very well. That's okay. That's blessing. No, don't worry. But just because he talks, she talks very well, that does not become Pramana. Correct? Shastra. Rishibir Bahuda Geetam. Look at all the sentences here. Okay. And Shankaracharya in commentary, yesterday I was reading, he gives an example. Why not consider, when Purva Pakshi comes and says, why not consider it like this? You know, through the jnanam that you're talking about, I get the jnanam of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Then I deeply meditate on it. And then after I meditate on it, then one fine day, I will be enlightened, I will get moksha. Like that. Why don't I take it like that? He said. Acharya will pick on all these things. He won't allow all this. Because Dhyanam is not Pramanam. Shastram is Pramanam. Shravanam is Pramanam. Hey, when you see the rope, what you thought was snake disappears completely. You're welcome to meditate on the rope and snake. You can thank whoever it was, your friend who said, hey, this is rope, this is not snake. But then once the jnanam is there, then you're free. You don't have to meditate on anything. But meditation is there because habitual error is there. Therefore, that habit I should remove. That is okay. But so there he says, these kind of ideas that you're talking about is not there in the Shastram at all. And so he uses the word Swayam Mudaha. That fellow is Swayam confused. Anyan Vyamohayati. And he is confused. And then he is confusing everybody else. Swamiji, Puja Swamiji says, Swayam confused. Anyan confusayati. I'm confused because he's talking about some stuff and he says Shastram is not needed and this and that. Hey, this kind of stuff, there is no pramanam for this. Okay. And so you are free here and now. If you want to talk about that, then there is some pramanam for that. And he says, Shruta Hanin Kritva means, hey, Shruti is trying to tell us something. You are destroying that message. Shruta Hani. Ashruta Kalpanam Kritva. Hey, what is not heard about? What is not talked about by Shruti? You are creating, you are manufacturing this idea. Kalpanam Kritva. Okay. And he says, Asampradaya with Murkhavat Upekshani Yaha. Hey, this kind of people, you just stay away from such people. Okay. I remember this statement because when we finished the course in the ashram, we did some celebration and all. There was a skit that we all wanted to do. And so one thing led to another. And they wanted to, they said, I should act like Swami. So I should, this thing came up. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So somehow somebody got this Kashaya Vastra and all. And so then in that dialogue, I am talking about this topic, among other topics, just for a short 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And so this thing I remember. And so when you approach somebody, what must be clear to the student is should ask the teacher, what is your idea of moksha? Tell me that first. What is your idea of moksha? Be clear about that. And so we all need to know that. So, Rishibir Bahudagi, right? All right, we'll read the next couple of shlokas, 5 and 6.
Ready?
Yeah, Sukanya. Mahabhutanyahangkaraha
महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः
बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च
बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च
इन्द्रियाणि दशैकञ्च
इन्द्रियाणि दशैकञ्च
पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः
पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः
इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखम्
इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखम्
सङ्घातश्चेतना धृतिः
सङ्घातचेतना धृतिः
एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन
एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन
सविकारमुदाहृतम्.
सविकारमुदाहृतम्.
Yeah. So here Krishna is elaborating on Kshetram. Previously he said Kshetram, Shariram. He said that. But here he's going to elaborate a little, just in these 2 shlokas. So, Kshetram means what? Savikaram udahritam. It is subject to change. What changes is Kshetram. That is why Jagat is Kshetram. Jayati gachati iti Kshetram. Jagat means that which changes. That which is born and changes is called Jagat. And so the entire Jagat is Kshetram. Okay. And then, of course, Achetanam also, Jadam, inert. What about body? Is it inert or Chetanam, conscious? Well, it appears conscious, no doubt. All the parts of the body are just throbbing with life. And so many things are being done by this human being that even animals cannot do. And so it seems conscious. Yeah, that's fine. It appears conscious if we say that's okay. And so it has borrowed consciousness. So it is Achetanam and Sagunam. We saw some of these things. And then what about existence? Well, Kshetram cannot have independent existence. So exactly like this pot. Pot is existent or non-existent? Well, pot is existent, no doubt, but it has borrowed existence. So the entire Kshetram borrows its existence from Kshetrajnaha. That's the thesis of Advaita Vedanta. And so that is the mithyatvam of Kshetram. So like this, many qualities we can give to Kshetram. And so here in this sloka, he talks about all the things, ahankara buddhi. He doesn't talk about the world. That you already know it is Kshetram. I don't have to tell you all that. Vishwarupa Darshanam also you saw. And beyond that, what else I have to say? And so he comes to the body. Because the error begins with the body. So that error is being attacked here. Ahankara, buddhihi, and then Indriyani, Dashaikancha, Icha. What about desire? Is it Kshetram or Kshetrajna? Desire is so subtle, my dear, and you don't even know what brings us the desire that we have. You don't know where it's coming from also. That is also Kshetram, etc. He talked about. Okay. Why is Icha Kshetram? Savikaram. Because it is subject to change. Anything that is subject to change is Kshetram. That's the definition of Kshetram. Therefore, Kshetram. All right. Then, Kshetram he talked about. Then we should talk about Kshetrajna. Okay. Therefore, for that we are going to shloka number 12. Well, we'll come back to the other shlokas shortly. Okay. Let's chant from 12 onwards. We're going to chant from 12 to 23. Atma is talked about. Or Kshetrajnam is talked about. Nyeyam yattat pravakshyami. This is shloka number 12.
What about 6 and all that?
Yeah, we'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Okay.
So we have to, it's slightly different. We're taking a different route today.
Okay. Nyeyam yat pravakshyami.
Yajñātvā mritam ashnute
Yajñātvā mritam ashnute.
anādimat param brahma
Anādimat param brahma.
nasattanna saduchyate
Nasattanna sayuchyate.
sarvatah pānipadam tat
Sarvatah pānipadam tat.
sarvatokshishiro mukham
Sarvatokshishiro mukham.
sarvatah shruti malloke
Sarvata shruti malloke.
sarvamavritya tishtati
Sarvamavritya tishtati.
sarvendriya gunabhasam
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
sarvendriya vivarjitam
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
asaktam sarvabhricchaiva
Asaktam sarvabhrikchaiva.
nirgunam gunabhoktrucha
Nirgunam gunabhoktrucha.
bahirantascha bhutanam
Bahir antascha bhutanam.
acharam charameva cha
Acharam charameva cha.
sukshmatvat tadavijñeyam
Sukshmatvat tada vigneyam.
durastham chantike cha tat
दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत्
अविभक्तं च भूतेषु
अविभक्तं च भूतेषु
विभक्तमिव च स्थितम्
विभक्तम् इव सच्चितम्
भूतभर्तृ च तत् ज्ञेयम्
भद्रु च तत् ज्ञेयम्
ग्रसिष्णुप्रभविष्णु च
ग्रशिष्णुप्रभविष्णु च
ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः
ज्योतिषाम् अपि तत् ज्योतिः
तमसः परमुच्यते
तमसः परमुच्यते
ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यम्
ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं
हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम्
कृति सर्वस्य विष्टितम्
इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानम्
इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानम्
ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः
ज्ञेयं शोक्तं समासतः
मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञाय
मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञाय
मद्भावायोपपद्यते
मद्भावायोपपद्यते
प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव
प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव
विध्यनादि उभावपि
विद्यनादि उभावपि
विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव
विकारांश्च गुणांश्चैव
विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान्
विद्धि प्रकृतिसम्भवान्
कार्यकरणकर्तृत्वे
कार्यकरणकर्तृत्वे
हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते
हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते
पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां
पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां
भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते
भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि
पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि
भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान्
भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान्
कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य
कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य
सदसद्योनिजन्मसु
तदसद्यो निजन्मसु
उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च
उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च
भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः
भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः
परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः
परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः
देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः
देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः
य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषम्
य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
सर्वदा वर्तमानोऽपि
न स भूयोऽभिजायते
न स भूयोऽभिजायते.
So you can roughly mark till 12 to 23. Kshetrajna or Atma is talked about. And from 19 onwards, Prakriti also is included. Prakritim Purushan Chaiva. So Prakriti also is there in this. Or a few mentions are there. But primarily, Kshetrajna. What is Atma is being talked about in so many shlokas. So having known the entire Kshetra, Kshetram is easy to know. Even though Kshetram seems to be vast, universe is huge and all we say, but easy to know. However huge it is, you can figure it out. You need the Shastram only when it comes to Atma. That Atma which is so subtle. Anuresha Dharmaha. Anuhu, Sukshma, because it is Sukshma. That means the entire universe is not Sukshma Mityartha. Yeah, some things may be a little more difficult to comprehend in Kshetram, but Atma definitely nobody can even guess it. And therefore, that's the subject here. And it is That's the subject. And what is the subject of the subject? Hey, the subject is the topic, as opposed to the object. Subject-object division is there. Entire life of a human, if you see, the subject is interacting with the object, subject interacting with the object. I, not I. I, not I. I, not I. I interacts with not I. That's how the entire life is. Entire day is like that. And so, somebody said, how do you want to transform your life? Well, life is nothing but a series of days. If you can transform your day, then you can transform your life. Like that, I read somewhere. So, our day is all we have. So yad drishyam tad anityam. What I perceive, what I objectify is anityam, changing. Savikaram udahritam, Krishna said. What about I? Well, that I is the only thing that is nityam. That is avinashi. That is sarvagatam also. Later on, he's going to say that. And so, all that I is me. It is not a conceptual entity. It is not an abstract entity. And because it's not abstract, it is very relevant to me. Okay. And that is why the entire Shastram exists. You can throw the Vedas out the door where it's not talking about Atma. If it is talking only about Anatma, it becomes optional. Correct? Veda is optional. So many Anatma, sciences are all Anatma. Sciences are all Atma, in optional. Nobody can say you must know geology in order to have a fulfilling life. No, nothing like that. There's no connection between any sense, science and fulfillment. Correct? A person, a scientist can feel fulfilled doing what he or she is doing. Nothing wrong with that. But there are many scientists who don't find fulfillment in what they do. That means what? It's very iffy. It's people are not clear. What exactly? What are the limitations of science? We are not clear. Okay. And so, therefore, the entire karma kanda meant for the human being for what? Okay, the Veda says, fine, if you want to go to Swarga, I'll take you to Swarga. It is like the child saying, I want balloons. I want more and more balloons. And the child wails, cries when the balloon bursts. And the parents say, my dear son, my dear daughter, look, balloons means bursting only. It is the quality of the balloon to burst. Don't you know that? Oh, what do you mean? Balloon means burst. You just inflate it. Anything that inflates has to deflate. Oh, no, I want more balloons. So this is child crying for balloon. And what about the adult? The enlightened, the balloon enlightened adult also has a lot of balloons. Favorite concepts are all balloons. Stock market. And then the son, after many years, the father is dejected like this. Dad, what happened? Stock market collapsed. But dad, did you bet on balloons? You only told me what inflates and deflates is a balloon. Doesn't stock market inflate and deflate? That also will collapse someday. That's what you told me long ago. Do you remember that? What? Yeah. So son becomes guru now. Daughter becomes guru of the father. And so this Atma, Nirgunam, Nirvikaram, right? We saw that. Chetanam versus Achetanam. And then Satyam versus Mithya. Those are the attributes of Atma. And so here Krishna gives a couple of examples, right, for Atma, which is described in these shlokas. And we also said what about Atma? What is things that Swami Paramarthanandaji constantly says? Atma is not a part, not a product, not a part, product, or property of the human body, because the confusion is with the body only. Atma is not a part, not a property, not a product of the human body. Atma is there in the body and independently existing and enlivening the body. Then third, Atma exists beyond the boundaries of the body. Fourth, Atma survives or outlives the body. Means what? Atma survives even after the body perishes. And the fifth one is Atma cannot be appreciated without Anatma. Atma is there, but unless Anatma is there along with Atma, I, the human being, cannot appreciate Atma. Okay, so that body, mind, sense is required for the Atma to manifest itself, for the consciousness to manifest itself, so that I can make the statement, oh my God, I've taken Anatma to be Atma. I'm really Atma. And Atma is significantly different from Anatma. To make these statements, Atma has to manifest itself in a form, whatever form it is, like this human. Okay. These are the 5 things about Atma we saw before. And in Shloka 32 and 33, which we are going to chant now, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave a couple of examples to just tell us what Atma might be like. Okay? So let's chant 32 and 33 now. Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात्
akasham nopalipyate
आकाशं नोपलिप्यते
sarvatravasthito dehe
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे
tathatmanopalipyate
नोपलिप्यते
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
प्रकाशयति भारत.
प्रकाशयति भारत.
Yeah. So we saw these 2 examples. Akashaha, sloka number 32, and Prakashaha, light. Okay, number 33. And so, interesting, Akasha and Prakasha have what is common between the 2? Kash is common between the 2. So there is something we should do. So I looked up what Kash is. Kash is Kash Deeptau. There is a verb in Sanskrit called Kash. Deeptau. In the sense of illumination, it seems. Kash, Kashate. Okay, that's the verb. That's how it goes. Kashate. Deeptau. Illumination. So Prakashaha. Prakarshena Kashate. Illumines like nothing else illumines. That is called Prakasha. There is nothing equal to light in terms of illumination. And therefore, Atma is like the light. Just like light illumines like nothing else. Atma is what illumines that light also. To say that there is light, you need to be conscious, my dear friend. Consciousness is what gives me the capacity to observe the whole thing, including light. And so, therefore, Atma is even more subtle, like light, like that he's saying. And Akasha, another beautiful example, Asamantat Kashate iti Akashaha. He says, the dictionary says, hey, this Akasha is called like this because it allows all illumination to happen. Look at that. Means what? It allows everything to happen, including illumination to happen. It gives space even to light. Okay. And so that's how they define, that's how they think. And so, therefore, Akasha and Prakash, we saw that, Prakashaha. Same attributes of Akasha, Ekaha, Sarvagataha, of this we saw last time, Achalaha, Akhandaha, one piece, partless, Akhandaha, Asangaha, uninvolved. Akasha is not affected by all the pollution that is out there. And so, Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatma tattvam satchit sukham paramahamsa gatim turiyam yat swapna jagara sushuptama vaiti nityam tad brahma nishkalamaham na cha bhuta sangha. Pratasmarana Stotram. Only 3 shlokas are there. Shankaracharya wrote this. Okay, we chant this in our dhyanam. And nacha bhuta sangha. Who is this Atma? Tad Brahma. Atma is Brahma. Nishkalam aham. Aham Atma Brahma. Mahavakyam. Nishkalam. A. Kala means part. Nishkala means partless. That is why they say Sakalam. Sakalam means what? Sakalam Saparivar. Hey, did you come with everybody? Did you come with all the students of your class? Everybody is here. Sakalam. Here, Nishkalam, partless. Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham. Nacha Bhuta Sangaha. Nacha Bhuta Sangaha. Atma is not connected with Panchabhuta at all. This Jagat. Atma is Sarva Bhuta Stitam Yoma. Astani Sarva Bhutani. Nachaham Teshvavastitaha. Asanga. So all this we saw last time. Sarvadharam. Okay. Sarva Prakashaha. So that's the purpose of these 2 examples. Now, by now we have completed Kshetram, Kshetrajna, and there is only one more topic left, which is what? Jnanam is left. And we are going to see what the Jnanam is, values and attitudes, which Krishna talks about in shlokas 7 to 11. Chant that now. Amanitvamadambhitvam
Anitvam adambhitvam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
acharyopasanam shaucham
acharyopasanam shaucham
स्थैर्यमात्म विनिग्रहः
धैर्यमात्म vinigraha
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम्
indriyartheshu vairagyam
अनहङ्कार एव च
anahankara evacha
जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam
असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः
asaktiranabhishvangaha
पुत्रदारगृहादिषु
putradara gruhadishu
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम्
nityam cha samachittatvam
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
ishtanishtopapadishu
मयि चानन्ययोगेन
mayi chananya yogena
भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
bhaktiravyavicharini
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम्
viviktadesha seviktvam
अरतिर्जनसंसदि
aratirjana samsadi
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम्
adhyatma jnana nityatvam
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
tattva jnanartha darshanam
एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम्
etad jnanamiti proktam
अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा
ajnanam yadatonyatha.
So here Sri Krishna lists a bunch of values, 20 values in fact. Very interesting. Nowhere else you see something like this, a big list of things, right? It's probably the biggest list. You have Ashtamurti and all. Bhumirapo, Nalo, Nilaha, Tham Vayu. There is one shloka like Bhumirapo, Nalo, Vayuhu, Tham Mano, Buddhirevacha, Ahankara iti yamme, Bhinna, Prakriti Rashtada. Like that, there is a list, Ashtada, there is a list of 8. Here, a list of 20 things, 20 values. Okay? And so if somebody asks, where is the room for ethics in Vedanta? Because what did Nachiketa ask? The anyatra dharma, anyatra adharma. Hey, tell me that which is other than dharma, adharma. Means what? Dharma is out the door. Vedanta doesn't include dharma. Yeah, technically the subject matter of Vedanta doesn't include dharma. It assumes we're all dharmic people and then next step. Okay, correct. But look at what Krishna is saying. Dharma is so important. This entire list of values is what makes a human being a human being. Okay, and earlier we said use different words also. We said adhikaritvam. What is adhikaritvam? Sadhana chatushtaya sampattihi. Yeah, some of those of you who have been from the beginning onwards remember this thing. So preparations. What are the qualifications for a person to study Vedanta? Suppose some student comes to the Guru and says, Guruji, what qualification should I have to study Vedanta? We can't say you must have this degree, that degree, and all that. It doesn't apply here at all. And so, that vivekam, vairagyam, shamadamadi, shatka sampattihi, and mumukshutvam. Viveka, atma, anatma, viveka. There is something called atma which is different from anatma, and I need to know that atma. Okay, something anatma, atma is there which is different than anatma. Discernment. Purposely I use the word discernment. Means ability to discern atma from anatma. Differentiate atma from anatma. All right. Next, vairagyam. Dispassion. Vairagyam. So, the person should be naturally inclined to not be carried away by anything in this world. Flashy new iPhone. Every iPhone has something new. I don't know what they do. They keep on coming up with newer and newer things. Just enough to attract you. It can't be too much. Because next version, they want to do this, and then they say, after some time, they say, it's all old-fashioned. So then they come up with something new. So this goes on. The person who says, wait a minute, this is an unending journey. Okay, I'm not going to get any fulfillment from this. And that guy has that vairagyam, correct? Dispassion. Next, shamadamadi shatka sampattihi. Discipline. Mano nigraha, indriya nigraha, uparatihi, titiksha, ability to put up with difficulties, inconveniences. Those are all prized attributes of a sadhaka, right? And then what is the fourth one? Mumukshutvam, desire for moksha, intense desire for moksha. Previously, Atmanatma Viveka, there is something called Atma. Now what? Now I understand enough that I have to know what this Atma is. That is called Mumukshutvam. So 4 Ds, Swamiji calls. 4 Ds. What are the 4 Ds? Discernment, dispassion, discipline, and desire. Desire? My God. I thought you have to eliminate desire, and you're telling me I must have desire. Yeah, this is called desire for moksha. All right. And so that's why these values are so important. Swamiji says, a study that is backed up by values, study plus values is transformation. Paramarthanandaji. Study plus values is transformation. Study minus values, information. Study plus values is transformation. Study minus values, a lot of information. We all have terabytes. Another disk drive we need, because just recently only so many terabyte disk drive I got. Now I need another disk drive. Why? Because a lot of information is there. Okay, and so may our study not become like that. And we all have these values. How do you know we all have these values? Because you've been sitting here for years now. Already Bhagavad Gita, we started, I don't know, I've lost count. And so 19, I think, started, 19 November. So it's been going on. So that means if you've been able to stick around this long, this can be only one reason. We have these values to a large extent. So we're able to pursue the study. All right. And he calls it jnana, right? Etat jnanam iti proktam. Very interesting. Nowhere else I find in Upanishads and all It's not mentioned. Of course, Upanishads does not have to talk about values, but he's using a strong word called jnanam, which is normally reserved for Brahmavidya. So these values are so important, they're as good as jnana. That means what? If I have these values, jnanam is just waiting to happen, right? All right. Next, 24. Okay, let's chant 24 and 25. Okay, we may take a few extra minutes here. ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
ज्ञानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति
केचिदात्मानमात्मना
केचिदात्मानमात्मना
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन
कर्मयोगेन चापरे
कर्मयोगेन चापरे
अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः
अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः
कृत्वान्येभ्य उपासते
श्रुत्वानिभ्य उपासते
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः.
Yeah. So here he's talking about the various sadhanas. So dhyanam, jnanam, sankhyam, karma yoga, all this we've seen before. And so these are the sadhanas. So in general, what? Karma yoga begins as a child itself, it can begin. And as an adult, we can build it up. So karma yoga is there. So the prasada buddhi is there. All Indians will have prasada buddhi. And then Ishvararpana buddhi, it just builds up. And then after that, puja, prarthana, ityadi is there. And we all start that even before even knowing that there is something called Veda. And what is the Veda? We don't know nothing. And so, puja, prarthana, upasanam, dhyanam, everything people start. And then what? Then only Shravan. Many people I know who been practicing meditation, but they don't know anything about Shastram. And then sooner or later after that, they come to Shastra. So then we have Shravanam. And Shravanam removes Avaranam. That Ajnana, it removes. Then Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Mananam removes Samshaya, doubts. Because this being knowledge, doubts have to be removed. So Mananam and then Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam removes the habitual error. Viparita bhavana nivritti. So all that is implied by this two shlokas. And finally, Krishna consolidates everything in the shlokas 26 onwards. Let's chant that. Yavat sanjayate kinchit
यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित्
तत्त्वं स्थावरा jangamam
तत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम्
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञ संयोगात्
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात्
तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ
तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ
समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु
समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु
तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरम्
तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरम्
विनश्यत्स्व विनश्यन्तम्
विनश्यत्स्व विनश्यन्तम्
यः पश्यति स पश्यति
यः पश्यति स पश्यति
समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र
समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र
समवस्थितमीश्वरम्
समवस्थितमीश्वरम्
न हि नस्त्यात्मनात्मानम्
न हि नस्त्यात्मनात्मानम्
ततो याति परां गतिम्
ततो याति परां गतिम्
प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि
प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि
क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः
क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः
यः पश्यति तथात्मानम्
यः पश्यति तथात्मानम्
अकर्तारं स पश्यति
अकर्तारं स पश्यति
यदा भूतपृथक्भावम्
यदा भूतपृथक्भावम्
एकस्थमनुपश्यति
एकस्थमनुपश्यति
तत एव च विस्तारम्
तत एव च विस्तारम्
ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा
ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा
अनादित्वान्निर्गुणत्वात्
अनादित्वान्निर्गुणत्वात्
परमात्मायमव्ययः
परमात्मायमव्ययः
शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय
शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय
न करोति न लिप्यते
न करोति न लिप्यते
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात्
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात्
आकाशं नोपलिप्यते
आकाशं नोपलिप्यते
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
प्रकाशयति भारत
प्रकाशयति भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम्
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम्
अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च
ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्
ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्
So here it is looked upon as a consolidation of the entire teaching. And so some of the benefits of jnana, that's another way to look at consolidation, talking about benefits. And so number 27, yah pashyati sa pashyati, samam sarveshu bhuteshu. Initially, I differentiated Atma and Anatma. Initially, I had Vairagyam. Vairagyam means what? Well, these are all objects. The objects can never, objects are useful in my life. My life can't proceed without things, without food, shelter, and clothing and family, it can't move anywhere. And so all that is required for maintaining this body and mind, but that is not fundamental. And so initially I start like that. Finally, as I approach Jnanam, what happens? Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. I see Brahma everywhere. And so that's how the journey is. And so that's the first message there. 28. Nahinasti. Nahinasti. The Atma is no longer as understood as not destroyed. Atma is always there. Ajaha, Nityam, etc. Therefore, that is the second point. 29. Prakritya. Hey, Prakriti is what is responsible for all action. Guna guneshu vartante iti dharayan. Na kinchit karomi. I don't do anything like that. We saw earlier, Krishna says, now whatever Krishna says, we have to apply to ourselves. Aham na kinchit karomi. Why? Because Prakriti is making things happen. Yes, I have to take responsibility. That's what dharma is. But eventually I can say, I am not a doer, a karta. I am not a experiencer. I am not a bhokta also. Okay. Why? Because mind, experience is happening in the mind, and mind itself is Kshetram, and I am not Kshetram. All right, then. So like that. 30. Brahma Sampadyate. Brahma Prapti. Entire universe, entire life's purpose got fulfilled by this Brahma Prapti, Brahma Sampadanam. Aham Brahma. Aham Jagat Karanam, Jagat Adhishthanam Brahma. I must be able to say, I am the cause of this world. That I is not referring to this body, obviously. Only then I can make that statement. The Shastram helps us make that statement. And then 31, 32, na upalapyate. 33 also. So, asangaha, we saw that earlier. And 34 is the conclusion. And paramyanti, they gain that param, that purnatvam, that person. People who understand this kshetra kshetrajna vibhaga yogena pu paramyanti. And that's the conclusion of this chapter, that last sloka. Aparavidya, entire world of sciences is all called Aparavidya. Mundaka Upanishad says even the words of the Veda are Aparavidya. Correct? And Mundaka is very strict. Doesn't matter. Even if you bracket Veda itself as Aparavidya, you're okay. But there is something called Paravidya. Yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. That by which I can see that I am Satyam Jagat Mithya Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Whatever that is, Shastram doesn't say what that is. That by which that knowledge takes place. That is Paravidya. Like that Shastram says. And so, and therefore, for me it is difficult to accept that science is approaching Vedanta. Many people say that. Many popular talks are there out there. Science is approaching spirituality. Good, let them approach. I have nothing against that. But how can they approach? Where is all the thing we talked about? Can they say, I am the cause of the world? If they can say that, if they can make me say that, I will just do namaskar to them. Correct? We can do that. We have no problem. Right? So with that, this chapter concludes. You can chant along with me. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogo Nama Trayodashodhyayaha. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Apadamapahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.